All right, Elizabeth, go for it.
Alrighty, so thank you so much, Dr. Hollis and Anna, for joining us today just to answer a few questions about the yearbook and all the difficulties in having to build a book from, home, which is probably something that's never happened before. But just how have you two been doing during this school closure?
Um, well, aside from the first week, like you said, we spent that week working on yearbook, finishing up the book the first week, but we've been doing well. I think we've been having weekly check-ins and talking to the whole staff, checking in on everybody, but aside from the whole yearbook staff, we've been doing well.
I kind of echo that. Everything's been good. The first week was really crazy. Besides the fact that the book wasn't finished, the seniors had been gone the week before on senior trip. So that was my editor-in-chief, one of my assistant editors, one of my main photographers, and then one more staff member. And so I haven't seen them since 4 days before we got out of school for all of this. And we didn't even have a chance to touch base in person as a group about what we had left to do. So we had to do all of our catch up plus all of the actual finishing of the book that first week. And we can get into talking about, deadlines and all that if you want to, but we had probably close to 40 pages left to finish that final week. And a lot of it had been delayed because of all the rain we had. And at first our big issue, I may be getting into some of your other questions, I'm sorry, but one of our big issues was the rainy weather and spring sports being delayed. That was a big chunk of what we had left to finish. And we were waiting for games to be played so we could get photography. And then all of this hit, and it was kind of a mess.
So, Anna, where were you in terms of production when school closed?
Okay, so like Holly said, we had been on the senior trip for the week before school closed. So we kind of, for me as editor, I kind of left it to the staff, left it to Alex Reinhardt, our junior assistant editor. So I had not really kept up with progress since I was on the senior trip. And when I got home and, we heard about the school closure and I got logged in and everything, we had so many spreads that we still had to work on. Like Holly said, I think about 40 pages, and just the ones who were able to participate and contribute just had to get together and just find a way to work on these spreads at home. And it was something that we'd never done. So we were just having to figure it out as we went. And it was difficult, but we got it done.
So, Dr. Hollis, how difficult was it to complete the book from home? Like, what changes did you have to make in terms of how to put it together?
Well, I want to kind of pick up by piggybacking off of something that Anna said. When they left for senior trip and our junior assistant editor, Alex Reinhardt, kind of was in charge of production in the room while they were gone, we had a productive week. It's not that we didn't get things done, but we had things going on like games being canceled that we needed photography for. We had people that we needed access to that were in Orlando. We had things like that we just couldn't do, and we were waiting for them to get back. Well, then we get the announcement that we're going to be out of school. So we had the biggest difficulty was probably access to people, being able to see each other as a group, but then also my group being able to get in touch with the people they needed to talk to. Things like, hey, does anyone have a way to get in touch with, this person from the soccer team or that person from track, that sort of thing, to figure out what we still needed. So there was a lot of coordination that we had to figure out, remotely for ourselves as a staff, but also with the student body that we still needed contact with to finish gathering information.
Mm-hmm. So, Anna, assuming we'll have more changes to our school calendar, what are some of the things that you'd miss about releasing the yearbook?
Well, right now, the big one is yearbook day. So, as you know, we normally have yearbook day. It's scheduled for the Friday we go back to school, and we're supposed to have a video and release the book, share the theme with everybody. Well, right now we're not really sure if that's going to happen because we don't really know if we're going to go back to school yet. So we're just having to come up with alternative plans in order to release the book if we do not get to go back to school. So that's been really the big thing. Another thing is collecting photos and things for the videos that we will show at yearbook day, such as like the senior then and now video. We've had to do all of that virtually instead of having people bring photos to us. We've also had to work on the final slideshow for yearbook day at home. So just everything this year's been different, but based around yearbook day. So we've had to try to do all of that from home and just figure it out how we're going to do this not together and how we're going to coordinate together to try to get it all done.
So, Dr. Hollis, how do you see this affecting the way you approach the book next year?
I think that that's a really good question because so much of it's going to depend on how our summer calendar is impacted. The most immediate impact on going into next year right now is recruitment of staff for next year, because we would normally be right in the middle of handling staff applications and selecting our staff members for next year. I don't have access to those people, don't know if they're getting email announcements or requests from me to turn in information, and might not be able to have that access until, late summer or the beginning of next year. The summertime normally consists of us doing theme development for next year's book. We have multiple meetings with the staff. We have a workshop with Jostens that we go to late in the summer. All of that is in question right now. We don't know if any of it's going to happen. And therefore, we may be, months behind our normal production schedule if we start in August, literally going in on day one saying it's day one rather than us having a lot of the legwork done. So it's going to be, a curious thing to see how that develops.
So if people are still interested in getting a book, can they still buy one?
Absolutely. We are selling online right now at jostensyearbooks.com, and people can purchase a book. We are selling pretty quickly. We've reached out to the community asking for donations for people to support the senior class, particularly this year, people that may not be able to purchase a book, and we've had a really good response to that. I would suggest if anyone sees this and wants to still purchase a book or was planning to do it on yearbook day, that they do it sooner rather than later, because we can't guarantee that books will still be there. That's a good thing for us, people wanting to commemorate this year. And just kind of to wrap up something that wasn't addressed, directly, we did finish the book successfully on time. It is being printed. We actually expect it to be delivered to Chapman High School probably this week. Now, it being delivered to Chapman and it being distributed is not the same thing. So make sure there's no confusion there. But we do expect the books to be at Chapman High School when we get ready to distribute them. I don't know exactly how that's going to happen yet. A lot depends on what we find out about the calendar. But the books are going to be ready. And yes, there are still books for sale if people want to buy them.
Alrighty, well, thank y'all for joining us, and I hope y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and yeah.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks, Dr. Hollis. Congratulations on finishing the book, and everybody's looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.